Next week, SEC Media Days. Tonight, actually, Ryan Silverfield is holding his annual. How do I? How is this? It's a clinic for women, I guess, is the best way to put it. So I am going to MC this thing and listen to the coaches teach the game of football to the women. They're going to be a panel of players that are going to be. It's going to be fun.
I've heard of something like this before at Ole Miss, though. My friend's mom and sisters used to go every year. They meet Coach O and
Yeah.
all the Ole Miss coaches. So it's good. The University of Memphis is doing like something like that too.
Oh yeah. It's not the first year he's doing this, and should be a lot of fun. I don't know if this was started by Norvell or Fuente. I'll have to find that out. But we are tilting. Heck, we got SEC Media Days. You see, Blake Toppmeyer, he graded or rated the coaches. Obviously, Nick Saban 1, Kirby Smart very close 2, Jimbo Fisher 3. Who was 4, JMO? Who was 4? A lot of good. I mean, there's not a bad coach in the SEC.
Would it be Lane Kiffin?
It was Lane Kiffin, rated number 4. Of course, all that is very subjective and apt to change year to year. But it was interesting that Lane is really getting his due as the main guy in Oxford. And we do want to thank. I'm just going to do this on the front end. First National Bank and Trust, Landers Ford in Collierville, Mossy Oak, Memphis Tourism, the great Kevin Kane's group that is sponsor of a lot of our stuff. Ronnie Grizzani's, Gould's, Belly Acres, The Commissary, Golf Stick Pretzels, which is a part of Mossy Oak and Old Waverly. Have you ever had those pretzels?
I don't think I have.
Oh, my gosh. I'm not making this up because they are sponsoring this stuff. I kid you not. Golf Sticks Pretzels is made in West Point. It's a product of Old Waverly and Mossy Oak. I'm really not sure. I don't know if it's produced at West Point, but clearly it is the brainchild of George Bryan. It's the best pretzels you've ever put in your mouth. I mean, they are buttery. They're incredible. And now they're in. By the way, all the public golf courses have them.
Oh, I'm seeing these pig. They got like seasonings on them, different flavors.
Well, I only know the one. I think there's only one flavor.
Oh, maybe so, but it looks like they look delicious.
Oh man, they're. I mean, they're fantastic, fantastic. So check them out. If you ever, you'll thank me later. I promise, because they are really special. I know you can get them at Miramichi. That is for certain. And I'm going to be out at Miramichi this week, this weekend. Looking forward to seeing the progress of that golf course. You know, it's so good now you can play it down without any problem. See where the greens and the green speeds are. You know how beautiful Miramichi is. That is in Woodstock, about 12 minutes from downtown. That's all it is. And it is 330 acres of beauty, 7,400 yards of championship golf. It is the place to go afterwards. Check out the terrace, the best view in Shelby County, 9 and 18, and ponds and sky and clouds and trees, and just absolutely gorgeous. The back nine is like taking a walk through the woods with a meandering stream. It's gorgeous with the fall, with the waterfall. I mean, you can't beat it. Miramichi is an experience you have to have. Go check it out. Tearful Tiger farewell today. Did you watch him walk up 18? That may be the longest ovation I've seen. I mean, I know Jack. I like Jack when he was finally announcing his retirement. Now, he was much older. He stood on the bridge and waved, right? That was
Iconic.
Iconic. This Tiger teared up.
Oh, big time. He said he started, in his interview, he said he started to tear up when he saw the other golfers wait to walk up 18. He was like, oh, man, I know what's coming here.
Yeah.
And he walks up, he starts to tear up, and Rory tipped his cap as he's walking the other way.
Yes.
It's a great moment.
It was. And the interview afterwards, what you did not mention about that interview, which is very important to mention from that interview, is that Tiger's not saying goodbye. He hopes he's still around when they play St. Andrews again. That may not be the case, but he's definitely going to play another Open because he said that in this thing. So he is not saying goodbye for good. He's going to try and play. I thought his gait, his walking gait, was a lot better, but his play obviously was not. The cut at this moment is even par. He is 9 over par. I mean, this is Tiger Woods 9 strokes away from making the cut. That's as bad as what happened. Was it the PGA where he withdrew after the first round?
And he even mentioned that he got flustered after during the first hole yesterday, which we talked about yesterday. That was a terrible stroke of luck, but still, for Tiger Woods to get flustered, it's just not. It doesn't even equate to me that those two things go together.
You know what? It just was not meant to be.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was not meant to be. From the very first hole, he hits a perfect drive and ends up in a divot, which, as he just said, flustered him. He did not hit it well. Into the water it goes, and that is basically the end. Today, I watched him with a beautiful birdie putt that went 360 around the hole and out. I mean, that doesn't happen. It's just the kind of way it went for Tiger Woods. Let's hope there's some better luck, better golf karma coming his way next year when he has another full year to heal. And that right leg is a problem. Although he said his biggest problem was putting speed. He couldn't get putting speed. He was short on all his putts. He played better today. Obviously, he's 3 over. But I got to tell you, Cam Smith has birdied 6 of his first 10 holes today. 5 of the first 8, 6 of the first 10. He's got a 2-stroke lead on both Dustin Johnson and yesterday's leader, Cam Young, who's played 8 holes. He's 1 under today. Dustin Johnson ended up shooting a 67 today. 5 under par, 9 under for the tournament. The Live Benedict Arnold, I am very biased in this, had a good round today. Scotty Scheffler, who's always good, shot 4 under today, 68. He's 8 under, so he's 3 strokes behind now. Tyrell Hatton had a great round today. He shot a 66. He's 8 under for the tournament. Taylor Gooch, another one of those defectors to the Live, a young American.
Really
he
good
shot
young player.
3 under today. He's 7 under. Adam Scott has had the round of the day thus far, although Cam Smith has a chance to be better. Adam Scott, the old guy, shot 7 under today. 7 under.
I've got the scores pulled up here for a lot of these guys that did the afternoons round yesterday and played today. Adam Scott's a great one to start with because he has the low round of the day. 72 yesterday, 65 today. Matt Fitzpatrick, 72 yesterday, 66 today. If you keep going down here, you got a 73 from John Rahm, a 67 today. Harold Varner, 73 yesterday, 67 today. So there's really no doubt in my mind you get a little better course if you go out in the morning.
Well, you're not going to get that tomorrow because the leaders are going to go out later.
That's right.
We know that. You mentioned Matt Fitzpatrick. How about this? We just saw this when we were sort of prepping in the other room. Matt Fitzpatrick, what was it, 6 of the 14 major rounds this year have been 68 or better?
Unbelievable. That's an unbelievable stat. For a guy as young as him, just won his first major, it's unbelievable. That would equate to winning 1 major at least.
Well, you know what? You win a U.S. Open and you follow that up. If he was to win this at St. Andrews, incredible. Cameron Smith, who's not won a major yet, obviously is playing out of his mind. 6 under through 10 holes today, 11 under, and a 2-stroke cushion on everybody. Patrick Cantlay's at 7 under. Here's a guy we keep talking about. I've picked him once. I don't know how many times you've picked him or Mickey's picked him. Thigala.
Oh, Thigala, a few times.
Thigala is 7 under today. He finished with a 68 today. Mentioned Fitzpatrick's at 6 under. Rory is at 6 under. He's even par today. He's just starting. He's only through 4. Aaron Wise, 5 under. Abraham Answer, the defending champ. Although it's interesting, we met with the PGA Tour officials, Greg Gaston and I, earlier this week. And when we talk about this year's tournament, we talk about the defending champion being not Abraham Answer. It has nothing to do with the Live either, because this tournament is no longer a WGC event. It is the first round of the playoffs. Do you know who the defending champion is? If you get this, I'll buy you a beer.
I can't remember, but I know it's. I can't remember. I know.
Oh,
It, but
Brian Dacus. He's got his minds rolling. Give me an answer.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know.
Oh, I thought he would say maybe like he did to Greg Gaston today on 10 in a row. No, it's Tony Finau who won the first round of the playoff a year ago.
And that was the same way it was when they switched from the original FedEx to when they made the WGC event, right? The same year, it was a different defending champion than it actually was at the tournament. I believe it was Tiger Woods that won the Bridgestone the year before, and he had never played in the in the FedEx St. Jude Classic before.
Two guys of note that are 4 under are Jordan Spieth and John Rahm. They are both in today. They both shot, Rahm shot 5 under, Spieth 3 under. How about Harold Varner? He's 4 under, and he shot 5 under today.
Sergio Garcia, who's only 3 under, shot a 75 yesterday, shot a 66 today, 6 under at 3 under.
So he's going to make the cut at 3 under. John Daly, we're keeping our eye on. He is at even par, 1 under for today. I watched him. He made, I'm going to say, a 90-foot putt for eagle that got him to 1 under, and now he's 1 under for the day, even par for the tournament. He's still got a whole 9 to go, but wouldn't that be a great story if he made the cut?
I would love to see him playing on the weekend. Mr. British Open.
Yeah.
Those are his only 2 major championships, right?
Yeah. Lee Westwood out on the course. He's 3 under. That'll be a good story. Willett is also 3 under. He's out on that course. He's played 6 holes. Hideki Matsuyama, 1 under today, 2 under for the tournament. He's trying to make the cut. So we'll be keeping our eye on the leaderboard this whole day. In the meantime, I'll let you know we are busy today. We've got Sean Kelly, who you know is an ESPN announcer, the former announcer of the Pelicans, who just got a new gig. Sean Kelly is going to be the voice of the University of Florida, still do some ESPN work. We're going to talk about Summer League. He had the Grizzlies game the other night. Grizz lost to the Celtics yesterday, so they will not be involved in any championship Summer League play. They still got, I think, 1 game left to go. Man, they couldn't shoot threes yesterday. 3 of 20, and their perimeter defense was awful because the Celtics shot 16 of 36. So 13 more threes. That spells disaster is what that spells. And they lost by 17. I think as we look, and it'll be interesting to pick the brain of Sean Kelly. The winners of Summer League, wouldn't you say Zaire Williams, Santi Aldama, maybe Kenny Lofton? Because Kenny Lofton, I think his stock rose a little bit. If we're looking for one guy that maybe it didn't, it would be LaRavia. Would you say that? I mean,
I've had questions about him the whole time.
He had a hard time scoring. There's no question about that. So those were winners. Those were losers. As we effort to get a hold of our friend Sean Kelly. So Grizz losers there. They brought a whole bunch of people. Kennedy Chandler.
Who he had a pretty good Summer League as well.
Here's what he established himself as a solid defensive player. That's how I kind of viewed it. I think he had a couple steals at least in every game he played. They did move him at times out of the starting lineup with matchups that favored a bigger guy, and they brought Roddy in to play some of that. So it was absolutely an interesting Summer League for the Grizz. No titles this year, but nonetheless, the winners certainly Zaire Williams and Santi Aldama. And Sean Kelly, who will be the new voice of the Florida Gators, is going to join us. So you've been involved with a few teams now. The wonderful Green Wave of Tulane, the New Orleans Pelicans, now the Florida Gators, and you're one of the rare guys who's gone NBA, national, back to college. How about that, Sean Kelly? You must have just loved all of this from your roots in the great city of Carbondale at Southern Illinois University.
Good point, and good morning to you. Yes, no, I like wearing the school colors. I like being a part of that. As you know, it's very enjoyable and rewarding. And so, yeah, kind of turn back the clock or some kind of a change that I'm turning my life upside down for here this summer.
Well, we congratulate you on that. I know Gainesville's a great place to raise a family, from what I'm told. We have a guy named Mark Wise, who I'm sure you know, and Mark is on the show, and his wife is the coach of the volleyball team in Florida, and he speaks in glowing terms of living in Gainesville. So you're going to have a great time there. All right, so I just said I thought this summer that Zaire Williams, Santi Aldama, maybe David Roddy, those were the big winners for the Memphis Grizzlies. You did at least one of their games that I know of. I listened to you and PJ McCollum, CJ McCollum. What was your impression of the Grizzlies?
It in a lot of ways, and I had their game on Tuesday, which they played very well against Brooklyn. And I thought that the way that they played was not a direct reflection, but it did mirror in a lot of ways the way the big club is trying to play. And so that synergy, I think, is somewhat rare here in Las Vegas. But it also speaks to, kind of the trajectory that the franchise is going on. And some of those guys that you pointed out, had big games. David Roddy he impressed me, I guess, just because I didn't know what to expect with him. But, the game we had, he had 20 points. He shot the ball really well. I thought he D'd up pretty well, too, at the forward position. So, you have to include him in that list of guys that you just rattled off. And then Santi was, fantastic. He's had, a great run here as well. There's a lot of things going right for this franchise. And to get to visit with Taylor Jenkins during our broadcast was great. I always enjoy talking with him. I tease him that he's the NBA Coach of the Year in waiting because, it was, 2 years ago, Monty Williams probably should have had it. He finished second. And then this past season, he gets the award. Taylor could have certainly been that guy this past season. He finished his second. So I tease Coach all the time that he's in waiting here. So perhaps this coming season he gets the award.
Well, you've watched all these guys because you went from the Pelicans to doing ESPN NBA on radio. What is it about Taylor Jenkins that you think makes him so successful?
Well, I think part of it is where he comes from. I think I saw the other day that Greg Popovich now has 8 former assistants / players that are now head coaches in the NBA. When you hear Taylor talk, it's almost like listening to Coach Budenholzer up in Milwaukee, and
right.
the success that he's had. So I think that's the foundation that he's coming from. And then I really think that he relates to his players very well. There's a measured approach with him. I think that there's a lighter nature to the culture that he's building with that franchise that suits the younger guys pretty well. He's got a unique mix of personalities, that's for sure, on that team, the big club. And so right now it's jiving in the right way, and the voice still remains fresh.
We mentioned Williams, Aldama, Roddy. 2 other guys that I think everybody wants to know what their upside will be is Kennedy Chandler, who played at Tennessee, is from Memphis, and then the top pick that the Grizzlies moved up for, Jake LaRavia. What was your impression of LaRavia and of Chandler?
LaRavia is still, young and raw. He's 20 years old, but certainly there's some comfort level there, and I don't exactly quite know where that comes from at the moment. Obviously great Indiana basketball roots, but at the same time, I think there's still work to be done, obviously, with him. And then Kennedy Chandler, I mean, all you have to do is just watch the guy move around the floor. He's not, size-wise, he doesn't quite blow you away by any means, but we're talking about a kid that was, Tennessee Mr. Basketball. I think that there's the motivation, obviously, of playing for the hometown team, and then certainly I think that learning from a guy like Rick Barnes doesn't hurt his cause either. So, he came off the bench at 9 points. He didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but he also had 6 assists. And I thought that for him, that was as important as scoring the basketball in what he's doing here this week.
Sean, switching gears here, SEC Media Days next week in Atlanta. I don't know if your schedule allows you yet to be there. We'll have representatives. Brett Norsworthy, Gabe Kuhn are going to be there. But not only does Florida have a new announcer, but they have a new coach. What are your expectations? What are the storylines for Florida football this year?
Yeah, I'm just still, Dave, trying to get a handle on that. Unfortunately, I will not be at Media Days next week. When I get back home in Louisiana from NBA Summer League, I've got about 10 days to kind of wrap up getting the house sold, packed, and everything else. So I'm trying to put things in certain boxes, and I'm not just talking about things at the house, in my brain too. So processing NBA this week and processing getting out of Louisiana and over to Florida. But what I do know is that, obviously the storylines start with a new head coach and Billy Napier. And living in Louisiana, as I have here recently, I'm pretty familiar with what he did with the Louisiana program over there in Lafayette. And the one thing I think that Napier will be served well with is that ability to recruit and develop. At Lafayette, and Dave, you know this, Memphis kind of has to deal with this at some point, although their resources are on the rise. But at Lafayette, maybe you're not able to get that 4 and 5 star so easily. So can you find that diamond in the rough? Can you take a 3-star type guy and develop him into, maybe even a potential NFL caliber player? So if you take those skills with you to a place like Florida, and now you have the resources that you do in Gainesville, those things obviously will serve in dealing with maybe a higher caliber recruit at the onset. So not only that, but, he's a never too high, never too low kind of guy. He's probably the right guy to come in there and reset Florida's program. And, he's a process type of coach. So it's going to be a steady build, foundation first, that kind of a thing. So, look, one of the challenges I'll have, I guess, as the radio announcer, and this is a smaller role in this grand scheme of things, but, there's going to have to be some patience a little bit with Florida, but it doesn't hurt that he's got a very good quarterback at his disposal. And then certainly while the cupboard was not completely bare, he's going to have to make good here on developing what he has and doing so quickly. I mean, they open against Utah.
Right.
That's not exactly the season opener I would schedule for a new head coach in a program, but it just falls that way. You at least get the Utes at home, but that's no ease into it type of opener for the Gators.
No, that is not Sisters of the Poor. That is for sure. Best of luck to you on your closing, on your move. Congrats on the new gig. I'm thrilled for you, and I'm sure we will stay in touch, Sean.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dave. Always great to talk to you.
That is Sean Kelly, now the voice of the Florida Gators. He's brought to you in part by our title sponsor, that's Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. That is where you will never pay more than sticker price. New cars coming in all the time. Still a shortage, though. We know that. Laws of supply and demand, other dealerships might take advantage of. That never happens at Craft Road, the first exit in Mississippi, and Highway 78. You'll never pay more than sticker price on a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. I am about to go see my friend Billy Connerly and Lindsey Black at Family Leisure. I want to make sure I see what the new sales are for all of you at home. We're sitting in the Family Leisure studios, but you got to go to the main place. That is at I-40 and Whitten Road and see that wonderful store and see the vacation at home sale still going on, where you can get pools, patio, furniture, the whole schmear, grills, everything right there at Family Leisure. We'll pause for a second. When we come back, always love chatting with Jason Munz. Good story on Larry Brown. Where are the Tigers heading? And he has been at this thing they call the Shelby County Pro-Am. That's like the newer version of the Bluff City Classic, where college kids and pro kids are playing ball this summer in Memphis, rotating places. Jason Munz on all of that in just 1 minute.
Let former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon with Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
There are so many ways to buy and sell houses these days. How do you choose? Well, of course, choose the right way with Chet Whitsitt. Chet has over 37 years of experience as both a broker and a sales agent. He's helped lots of people buy and sell homes, and he will help you. It's the right way, and it's that easy. Buying, selling, or referrals, check with Chet at 901-484-5689 and Cry Like Realtors at 901-756-8900. Buying or selling? Check with Chet Whitsitt.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. Have you been turned down by your homeowner's insurance in the past 12 months for damage you believe you're owed? Call Brian Elder Roofing now. Our professionals will do a no-obligation, thorough evaluation of your property and document all damage we find. Our fully certified Hague inspectors are trained to identify storm damage to assess and build a full estimate in a language your carrier will understand. If there is no damage found, we will tell you just that. We build a data file of your actual storm damage for your carrier, all at no cost to you, free. So call now for your comprehensive roof guarantee from Brian Elder Roofing. Call us, 867-0303. That's 867-0303, or schedule online at brianelderroofing.com. Because if you think it's a claim, we'll help you show it's a claim.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
At Vanelli's Deli, new summer menu items: roast beef sandwich, Italian chef salad, or my favorite is the chicken breast salad. Gigantic bowl of lettuce, black olives, grated cheese, sliced mushrooms, green peppers, diced chicken breast, with ranch dressing, yum. And ask about Vanelli's Deli catering, family or corporate. Call today and ask for Charles at 901-754-2246.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Oh, man, it's going to stay hot the next couple of weeks. I saw the Channel 3 10-day forecast. What do they call that? 7 then plus 3. Like, it's going to be 102. Not this weekend, next weekend. Crazy. Hope your air conditioner is working. Mine does, because I got the tune-up from Conway. You can get it, too, for $69. There's a few things that you're going to like about it. One, it cuts your energy bill down if your system is in tune. And two, and do you have enough Freon in there to make sure your house stays cool? They check that, too. It's all part of the $69, 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up. All you got to do is call 384-3511. Conway Services. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Always love chatting with our friend Jason Munz, who joins us now. A couple of things I want to touch on. First of all, you wrote a story about Larry Brown. It was interesting. You got to talk with Larry, but I didn't get any conclusive results from that. Is he coming?
Yeah, there weren't any conclusive results based on the conversation I had with him. I mean, he said was that he has had some talks. He's talked to Penny a couple of times this offseason just about various things, the future and plans that Penny had or was thinking about for filling out his staff, and that they were due to talk again soon. The bottom line is Larry is focused very much right now on his health. He'll be 82 in September, and so I think the grind of being a traditional assistant coach kind of wore on him pretty good last season.
Yeah.
Not sure he's too anxious to necessarily do that again, although he freely admits that he doesn't like to not do anything. And so I think my gut tells me is he's going to be involved some way.
I hope so.
Yeah. So
well, you know
I
what?
think
He gets so all in. I've said this several times. People don't believe it, though. But here's a guy who's 81 years old, right? He was 81 last year, so he'll be 82 this November, if I remember correctly. He was the guy helping the managers unload the airplanes at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know why he does that, because no one told him to, but he felt that obligation to do that. And, that's the kind of thing that'll wear a guy down.
Yeah, I asked him about that actually back when Memphis played at SMU. I got a chance to sit down with him for some time then, and he said it's just kind of part of his DNA. Like he just doesn't like to not be busy doing something, and so that's a big reason why I feel reasonably certain that he's going to be back in some shape or form, filling some sort of role in some capacity. Don't know if it's going to be the assistant role that he had last year, but he did say, I thought was interesting, that a big thing that he was, paying attention to, one of the things that he was really paying attention to was how Penny was filling out his staff. And he said that Frank Haith is a home run. He really likes Faraji Phillips as well. And so I think that had he, if there was a certain scenario where he didn't necessarily agree with how Penny was filling out his staff, then maybe things would be different. But it sounds like he's happy with the job that Penny's done with making personnel decisions, and so I think that's a good sign.
And there's another guy that really never gets mentioned that he brought to SMU, so I assume he kind of helped bring him to Memphis too, and he's still on the Memphis staff. Who he was an assistant to the head coach last year. That is Sean Forrest, and I believe Sean Forrest was heavily involved in getting Kendrick Davis here. I believe Sean Forrest was heavily involved in recruiting several of the guys that might be on this roster.
Yeah, no, you're right. Elijah McCadden was a Sean Forrest, guy. Kendrick Davis, same deal, and Keontae Kennedy to a certain degree. Keontae Kennedy is from Texas and was recruited to SMU when Sean Forrest was there as part of that staff. And Frank Haith also recruited Keontae to Tulsa, and so there are multiple things going on there with Keontae Kennedy. But yeah, no, Sean Forrest to me, if Larry Brown decides he doesn't want to be all in the sense of being a traditional assistant coach, I think you could do a lot worse than replacing him with Sean Forrest and then maybe sliding Larry into the role that Sean Forrest filled last year, the special assistant to the head coach.
Right. Well, and you still got a ops guy because Rodney Hamilton left. You still got a strength coach that you got to hire. But Penny does think, like if you recall last year, I think he got Rasheed Wallace last year in late July. He also got Amani Bates, and he got Duran in late July. So who knows what's going to happen? I know you've been going to this summer league, the Shelby County Pro-Am, a couple of times at least this summer. You ran into Alo last week. What's the lowdown on the guy that I guess would be the backup point guard this year if he were to come back?
Yeah, it was this past Wednesday I ran into Alex, and I talked to Jonathan Lawson at the Pro-Am League games about 10 days ago, and I wrote about it at commercialappeal.com, and he talked about how he's going to be given the opportunity and might have already won the backup point guard job, and which that kind of sent alarm bells off for me. It was like, well, if that's the case, what does it say about Alex Lomax? So when I saw Alex this past Wednesday at the game, I went up to him and I asked him, would you like to talk, about your future? And he politely declined. He said he was really just there to watch the game and everything. And so, but didn't get anything directly from him, but I will say that, I've talked to some people around the program and some people even on the fringe of the program who seem to believe that Alex will not be back next season. Of course, we all know he walked on senior day. now Kendrick Davis is there. I'm not sure that Alex Lomax would be interested necessarily in being he would 100% be the backup point guard. There's no way that Kendrick Davis came here to share the point guard job. So I have a hard time believing that Alex would be interested in a situation like that. So again, I think it's pretty clear, at least as we sit here right now on July 15th, that Alex won't be back. But things can change, I think he's trying to, see what he could do overseas, that sort of thing. And, who knows if that doesn't wind up working out for him. We could look up in August like we did last year with Imani Bates. I think it was like August 26th or something like that when he finally committed. So there's still time. There's still time for things to change, but I'd be surprised.
It makes that tweet from about 6 weeks ago that he tweeted out. You've not seen the best of me yet, or something like that.
Right.
So
right. Yeah.
we'll have to wait and see. Tell me about this Shelby County Pro-Am. Years ago, and I used to do it on TV with Time Warner and then to Comcast, where the Old Bluff City Classic would bring, like Memphis would bring their recruiting class, and they'd have a team, and the veterans on the team would have their team, and there'd be college kids and guys who were pros that weren't major stars, but young pros in the NBA would come back and play in this league as well. Is that what the Shelby County Pro-Am is like?
Yeah, essentially that's exactly what it is. My colleague, who's the Grizzlies beat writer for the Commercial Appeal, Michael Cole, is actually writing a story, kind of looking closer at the Shelby County Pro-Am League. He told me that it started, I think, in 2019, and then obviously the pandemic happened, and so they're kind of like trying to bring it back. Bring back what they started in 2019. They did it last summer, and they're doing it again this summer, obviously. It's like Will Coleman, Lester Hudson is playing in it.
Wow.
KJ Lawson, Dedrick Lawson are playing in it. There's been some current Tigers who've played some games in it. Jonathan Lawson, as I mentioned before, KO, the new big man, has played some in it. Jeremiah Martin has played in it.
How did he look? I bet he's eating that league up.
Yeah, he was. It was very clear the one time that I saw him that he was just far and away the guy. He looked the part. He was, probably in better shape than 99.9% of the guys playing in it. He was definitely the standout, shall we say? But Jaden Hardaway has played in a couple of the games that I've seen. So there's some current Tigers. There's a guy who was a GA on Penny's staff last year, Demetrius Dyson, who is also playing. That dude can still play.
Well, he played pro overseas.
He did
for a number of years, and he's still pretty young.
Yes,
and
he's
fit.
Like 26, 27.
Yeah.
He's really, really good. So no, it's a neat thing, and it's very well attended. It was at St. Luke's last week, and then this week they moved it to the Orange Mound Community Center. And by the time, I would say by the second game, it was and that's a real, the St. Luke's is very small. It's essentially a room. The Orange Mound Community Center gym is like a real gym. It's got nice bleachers and all this sort of good seating and stuff. And it was full when I left.
It used to be that they had the Old Bluff City Classic always at what was then Shelby State. Now it's Southwest Tennessee Community College. But the crowds were fantastic. It was, great atmosphere. I'm going back to Keith Lee when I first got here. It was a
Right.
huge thing. I hope this comes back strong. I hope they start saying where they're going to be so everybody would get a shot of looking at it. Last thing, John Rothstein put out maybe the way too early pick for the American Athletic Conference basketball season. He's got Houston 1, Memphis 2. Are you on board with that?
Yeah, I think that's pretty well spot on. Houston has reloaded, and we all saw what Houston did. Even though Memphis was able to get them twice, obviously Houston got them in the tournament championship game. But we saw what Houston did being shorthanded. I mean, they were shorthanded last year. They were missing two of probably their three best players or four best players, and they were still just really, really good. And so, they've brought in a couple of really nice freshmen. One of them, I think, John is projecting him to be a starter, Jurassic Walker.
Yeah.
They're going to be really, really tough. But I do think that Memphis is set up for to give them at the very least a really, really nice run for their money, if not, even more than that, even more than that. So, the key is obviously Kendrick Davis, keeping DeAndre Williams healthy. And then, what do you get from Emmanuel Aycott and Keontae Kennedy? And based on, conversations I've had, Keontae Kennedy is actually sort of raising some eyebrows. I think they, obviously they were excited to get him and wanted him.
Right.
And thought that he would be good for them. But I think he's even impressing the coaches and stuff who have seen him in the summer workouts so far, that maybe he's kind of showing that maybe he's going to be even better than advertised.
And he's got Cincinnati 3 because of the addition of Rob Finney, who came from Indiana, and Landers Nolley, who came from Memphis. And he's shocked there that they're third. Temple, I was surprised at this. Temple is fourth. Now they got Jameel Reynolds from UCF. They got a kid named Taj Thweet from Coastal Carolina. I'm a little surprised that I look at their lineup. Jaleel White's in there. He's a good player. Khalif Battle is a really good player who was hurt last year. But would you have them 4?
I don't know. Where's Tulane? Are they 5th?
Tulane is 5. And I think Tulane's a better team in my estimation. All 5 starters are back from last year.
Yeah, see, that's kind of the one quibble that I have with that. Like, I don't necessarily, I don't necessarily, maybe Cincinnati. I think those 3 teams, at least in my eyes, I think those 3 teams are kind of interchangeable. I do think that those will be the 3 that are in that 3 to 5 range, but I'm just not sure necessarily they'll be in that order. I think Tulane could be as good as 3rd.
Wow. All right. My friend, as always, we appreciate it. We'll talk next Friday. I know there will be more storylines to talk about because it never ends with college basketball in this day and age. That's for sure.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Munzu. We appreciate it. That is Jason Munz with the Commercial Appeal. He is brought to you in part by the good folks at Grind City Brewing. That's the home of Poppy's Pills. That's what the doctor ordered, the Pilsner, Poppy's Pills, which is just light and crisp and refreshing. If you love Pilsners, you'll love Poppy's, I promise. My kids like to say ultra crushable. It's made right here in Memphis, so you get that. I love that feeling knowing it was made here. It makes me sort of tied into Memphis more. It's available in 6-packs or 15-packs. Ask your favorite retailer about, like the Spirit Shop. That's a good place to go and get it. It's best enjoyed ice cold, especially on a hot day like today. Get what the doctor orders, Poppy's Pills from Grind City Brewing. And I mentioned you can get it at the Spirit Shop. And with the weekend coming up, and it'll be a hot weekend, you can stock up on any beer, including Poppy's Pills. You can get Grind City's Tiger Tails there. You can get any local brewery there. You can get any great wine, from the great wines to the up-and-comers. Same thing with bourbon or with tequila or with vodka. They've got a million different kinds. Anything that has to do with spirits, including accessories, right there in the heart of East Memphis at Poplar and St. Nick, 4848 Poplar. You will just find it so simple to go in and talk to Eddie Connor and his family. They love to educate you about spirits. They're all about that at the Spirit Shop at Poplar and St. Nick. We'll pause for a second. We're hoping to connect with our friend, our agent from Priority Sports in Chicago, Andy Schiffman. He could be next.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. Five Ash Roofing, the name to know. Five Ash Roofing, the only way to go. Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Five Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. Five Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Lonely feeling deep inside. Find a corner.
Cruising into the weekend.
Silent footsteps.
Final portion of our week brought to you by Sheldon. If you're thinking of selling your home, maybe one of your buddies sells real estate, he's a great golfer. Well, here's the difference. Sheldon's a terrible golfer. You know why? Because he spends all of his time making sure you make the most money you can on the transaction of your home. So he kind of wears that moniker, worst golfer in town, proudly. Because it means instead of practicing golf, he's working on that strategic marketing program, including the Shell Bucks. He spends more time selling homes than he does practicing. Now, you could say, oh, that's why they call him Mr. Three-Putter. Sheldon lost his ball again, but he doesn't lose when it comes to the closing table. So if you want the best golfer, don't call Sheldon. If you want your house moved, then you call my guy, Sheldon Rosengarten, 483-0546, or go to memphisrelocate.com. It looks like we are not going to be able to hook up with our friend Andy Shipman. He's probably in Vegas, probably doing some kind of deals on the Summer League. J-Mo, do you concur? I think the winners in this were Zaire Williams, who now you know is going to be a better ball handler. I'm not saying he's going to become a backup point guard because you've already got Tyus, who you just committed to $30 million for 2 years. Tyus Jones is set. And Kennedy Chandler is going to be your third guy. But here's a guy who can come in and handle the ball. And when you are a guy who's just been a catch-and-shoot guy, they trust you enough, and you come through in Summer League with assists, with the ability to handle the ball. Didn't have that many turnovers, probably a little bit more than you'd like, but not terrible, especially for just learning this position. I think he's a winner, and so is Aldama. Aldama either had steals or he had blocks, and he was very efficient on the offensive side, much better, I think, than most people thought coming in.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I would say it was extremely effective for expanding the games of Santi and Zaire, which is what you're looking for when you bring a returning guy into Summer League. And I think you have to look – I raise an eyebrow a little bit to LaRavia, but that's, my skepticism maybe and based on what I saw in college.
I think LaRavia is one of the big losers in this thing.
But the rest of it, I would say it's an immense success. Like, you have to be happy with what you've seen from a lot of these rookies coming in. I don't know what that translates to when you get to the season, but if we just look at this in a bubble kind of, I think you come away very happy with the offseason for the Grizzlies thus far.
I think so. I think Roddy is a nice surprise on the plus side. I had more doubts about him than I had LaRavia. LaRavia looks good, though, right? I mean, it's not like he doesn't look like he's going to be able to play the part, and I'm certainly not going to judge any career on 8 games in Summer League where you really don't know the system yet or anything of that nature. But I think people were expecting, particularly on offense, a better performance than LaRavia gave them. I think Kennedy Chandler gave you exactly what you were thinking. He can play defense. He's quick as can be. His shooting was terrible. I think he shot 17% from three-point range.
That sounds about right. He was like 1 of 4 or 1 of 5 or 0 of 5 in just about every game he played in, it seems like.
Now, Kenny Lofton is a guy that I was really hoping was going to be a Tiger. Because coming into the end of or middle of summer, beginning middle, there was a discussion that Lofton was narrowing his choice of either going pro or coming to Memphis.
That guy would have helped a lot.
Would he have been a great player for Memphis?
Oh, my gosh.
Obviously. Because now he's a two-way guy, right? He's going to end up being a successful two-way guy. I think he proved, because he took Chet Holmgren on and was able to be effective against him. I think the other big winner in this is Kenny Lofton.
Hey, his touch is remarkable. I mean, it's unbelievable. People always compare him to Zebo, but I mean, in terms of touch, it's like Carmelo, Zebo, you name it, touch is as good as anybody I've ever seen. The big question for me is I don't know what position he can guard. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, he needs to lose weight. Well, I think if he's going to...
First of all, he's already lost weight.
Yeah.
He's lost like 30 or 40 pounds.
But if he's going to play the 4-5, I think he needs to... It's like almost like an offensive lineman. You need to maintain that weight in a more muscular way.
It seems to me he's very close to the sort of body type that Charles Barkley was
certainly
when he first got into the NBA. I'm with you. He could stand to lose a few more pounds, but I wouldn't try to get svelte.
No. Yeah, because I don't. What are you going to guard threes at that point? I don't think he can guard the three.
Not quick enough.
Yeah, I don't think so. So
but
I think he needs that
quick
size.
enough to be a 4, especially if you've got a few pounds of muscle on you.
That's really the question for a lot of these rookies, other than maybe Kennedy Chandler, is what position are they going to guard? LaRavia is one that. I mean, I certainly don't think he can guard threes, and 4 versus 5, I don't know what he could guard there. Obviously, we have offensive questions. Roddy's the same way. I don't know what he could guard, but they're in good company because there's not a lot of rookies that can guard really well. Zaire Williams is one that it took him till halfway through the year, but he was a defensive player coming in. That was his area of expertise, so it's not like they're in poor company in that regard, but I have a lot of defensive questions about some of these guys as well.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But it'll be fun to watch. Do they play one more game?
I think so. I don't know.
They're out of the playoffs.
Yeah,
that I know.
I think they're done at this point. The playoffs have become way more competitive in the summer league since they started doing it. Especially, it's kind of a throwaway. Teams really care about winning this summer league now, just for their own pride of these young guys. It's really come a long way. I never thought the summer league tournament would be something that is so passionately played for in the NBA.
What was it? I'm trying to remember. Was it the rookie year of Morant that they won the title?
Yeah, 2019 was when they won the title. And it hadn't been that long. Whatever Draymond Green's rookie year was the first year I believe they did the tournament. So that's a very short amount of time. It's come a long way.
Yeah. Today, just to end our show here, it was a farewell for Tiger Woods. He got an incredible ovation on 18. It was tearful, but he did say when he spoke on television with the interview that he was going to continue to play. Now, we won't see him until next year, maybe not until Augusta National. Maybe he'll play the Players' Championship. I don't know. I know it's going to be limited. It'll only be big events, but he did leave the door open. He got to get healthier, but he is going to play next year. That is what we got out of that. And we're getting out of this that Cam Smith is one heck of a player. Still 6 under through 12. He was 6 under through 10. So he's had 2 pars. Look out. He has the lead over Cameron Young. hey, Cam Young, this 25-year-old rookie is for real. Because I thought he might lay a bit of an egg today after going and shooting a 64 yesterday. I could have seen 3-4 over par easily.
Especially in the afternoon.
Yeah. He is 2 under through 11, 10 under for the tournament. Then Dustin Johnson, and the number one player in the world who doesn't get his due, Scotty Scheffler. Another kid, Gooch. This kid is now talking. He's saying that all the vitriol about the Live Tour, because he's a Live guy, it has inspired all of them. If you look, Garcia played well today, and Dustin Johnson, who's 2 strokes off the pace, was in the clubhouse as the leader for a little bit. He certainly has been inspired, too. That'll do it for us. Final portion of the show is brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Team. By now you know all about Matt and his group. It's about collaboration. You know what they do? They get to know you when they protect you. They get to know your family, what your needs may be, what your budget is, and then they pick the right program for home, for auto, for life insurance. And if you're a business owner, small to mid-sized business, the Eflin Insurance Team, that is part of their specialty. I promise you, they really know their stuff. They'll forecast out what is important to you, where you think your business will be in 10 years, and then he picks the right company. All you got to do is call Grant Andrew Heath or talk to Matt himself. Big Tiger fan. His number's 901-386-GRR. That's 4777. Get protected the right way with the Eflin Insurance Team. Johnny Radio is right around the corner. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay cool. We'll see you on Monday.